Hey everyone, my name is P.T. Hylton, and I'm here today to talk to you about the books I read in September. Where to begin? Let's start with Annihilation by Jeff VanderMeer. As you can see, I got this from my local library, but I really like the cover. I might have to pick this up for the old permanent collection. It's the first book in a 3-book series, and all 3 are out, and they all have cool covers that fit together nicely, and I think they look pretty nice on the shelf. Annihilation is the story of a group of 4 explorers who go into a weird sealed-off area of the United States that is called Area X. Not a lot is said about the history of this place or why exactly how it came to be sealed off, but we do know that it's an area in the southeast United States on the coast, and everyone who goes there, all the expeditions and everything that go there, turn out badly. So our heroes are the 11th group of explorers to ever go into this Area X. The book is written in a very interesting way in that there's a certain level of disconnect. We never learn the characters' names. They're just referred to as the psychologist, the surveyor, etc., based on their job. We do learn about our narrator's life a little bit, but there's a lot that's not explained about the history of Area X. It was a very beautifully written book, and it's a very immersive and weird and almost sort of disturbing reading experience, the way that it's written. It's a very short book, as you can see, but it's very densely written, in beautiful language, a story that's beautifully told. My one quibble with it is that it's categorized as science fiction, which to me, this is straight up horror. This is like H.P. Lovecraft for sure. That's the biggest comparison to anything else I've read I can draw. Is very Lovecraft-esque. It's these people going into this unknown land and bad things happening to them. So it's definitely, I can see the sci-fi classification too, but to me it leans a little bit more towards the horror bent of things. I'm wondering if because it's more literary, the publishers thought that maybe a science fiction literary book would do a little better than a horror literary. I'm not sure. Great book though, highly recommend it. I also enjoy that the publisher is put out all 3 books this year within 6 months of each other, I think. And I like it when publishers do interesting, different things like that kind of challenge the norm of just putting out 1 a year or whatever. In this case, they put out all 3 this year, and to great results. So I really highly recommend Annihilation. Next up, we have Swan Song by Robert McCammon, which, as you can see, I read digitally. I read it on Oyster. This is a book I've been wanting to read for a long time. Before I get into the actual book, though, I have to say I've never seen a cover for Swan Song that I really like. A lot of Robert McCammon's other books have really cool covers, but like the original cover, which has like a floating kind of demon head thing on it, looks pretty dated. I think it deserves a cool cover. So somebody get on putting out a cool edition with a really neat cover, and I would put it on my shelf. All right, so let's talk about this book. This is a classic of the kind of post-apocalyptic genre. Came out in the 80s. I have never read it till now, so I was excited to do so. It's got a lot of similarities to Stephen King's The Stand in that something happens that kind of ends the world as we know it, and in the aftermath, magical things start happening. And there's different groups of people traveling. So some similarities there. In this case, though, it's a nuclear apocalypse that wipes out the majority of humanity. We're kind of following 3 groups of people. One is a professional wrestler and a young girl. He kind of serves as her protector, and as they travel around. The second group is our kind of hero in that group is a formerly homeless woman who has come into possession of a magical ring type deal. And the third one is a not a general, I think he's a colonel, a military man with some evil designs for the future of humanity, and the young, very enthusiastic man who goes with him. Adolescent, I should say. He's not really a man. He's like 13. So those are our 3 groups, and it's interesting to watch them as they converge, almost converge, and then head towards this final conflict. A very long book. It's, I think, right around 900 pages. The strength of the book, in my opinion, was the characters. There's some wonderful characters that I will always remember. I particularly loved Swan, the girl, with her name in the title, Swan Song, and Josh, who is her protector. Their storyline was my favorite. I did like the colonel and the really enthusiastically military-minded young man as well. Good book. If you're interested in post-apocalyptic stuff, what happens after a nuclear apocalypse, you're into a kind of a mix of horror and fantasy, this book is for you. I give it a big thumbs up if you haven't read it. And also, it's just one of those books that I think people, when they talk about post-apocalyptic books, this is one they reference a lot. So it's a great one to have read. Next up, I've got Dare Me by Megan Abbott. This is the story of a high school cheerleading squad who gets a new coach who drives them in new ways that they're not used to being driven, and then something bad happens, and our hero's not sure who to trust. I would call it suspense, I guess. And you're watching the lives of these high school cheerleaders unfold as they're trying to make decisions about this event that happened. You can tell I'm trying to talk around this without revealing what happens, but I do like the way that it drew the complexity of the relationships these young women have with each other and with the authority figures in their lives. Very well drawn characters. And I also like the kind of the main head cheerleader who is very much a mean girl, but also is always dropping like literary references and movie and music references into her dialogue. I wasn't sure whether I would like it or not, just because the high school cheerleader genre is not always at the top of my to-read list, but very well done, very good. My one quibble with the book is the title, Dare Me. Okay, it's a book about high school cheerleaders. It's called Dare Me. You think at some point either there would be someone literally daring someone else to do something, or it would be more of a figurative dare where someone's trying to do something because they don't want to look bad in front of their friends, or things kind of escalate that way. And that doesn't really happen in the book, so I'm not really sure why it's called Dare Me. All the same, good book. Final book on the list this month is The Last Policeman by Ben H. Winters. This story kind of hits two of my sweet spots in that it's a noir kind of crime fiction type thing. You've got it's kind of that classic story of you've got this detective and there is a murder that everyone else kind of is willing to just let go and thinks it's a suicide, and we've got the one dedicated cop who's going to stop at nothing to figure out what really happened in this case. So you got that kind of standard trope, but what is interesting about this is the world that it takes place in. It's our present times, it's our Earth, but in this world, there's an asteroid that's headed to Earth, and it's going to hit the planet and basically destroy life on the planet in 6 months. It's public knowledge. Everyone knows about it. And the way that people react to it is what is interesting about the book. So you have this really cool mystery story, but it's happening in a world that's very much like ours, but just a little bit off. So a lot of people, including a lot of the police officers, have gone bucket list, as they call it in the book, and basically just quit their jobs and gone off to do whatever they dream of doing for the last 6 months of their lives. There's a lot of suicides, hence the title, The Last Policeman. Our hero is dedicated to fighting for justice until the end. I like this book a lot. It's probably my favorite book that I read this month. And the good part is there's 2 more in the series. I'm going to pick those up, hopefully read the next one next month. Give it a high recommendation. And I'm not sure if this book has gotten a lot of attention in science fiction circles. I know in mystery circles it has. It won the Edgar Award, but I'm not sure if a lot of science fiction readers know about this book. And I think this is a story that a lot of science fiction readers would like. So I give it a big recommendation. That's going to do it for me this month. Next month I'm going to be reading The Lives of Tao by Wesley Chu. I'm going to be reading Demon Frenzy by Harvey Click, Smarter Than You Think by Clive Thompson, and I don't know, some others. So if you have any suggestions, you can pop them in the comments below. I will talk to you next time, and until then, keep reading.